We live in a time when the existing modes of agriculture are coming to an end. The reason they're coming to an end is because they're not sustainable. They've never been sustainable. We've gotten away with it for a long time, but a change is coming. Wendell Berry calls it the agrarian mindset, which says not more, but this much, but no more. In other words, it's about setting limits.
You can take and take and take out of the fields when you're growing. You know, you've got to feed the plants, but after a while you've got to put something back.
The earth is a living being and deserves and warrants care, respect, and dignity. That's a huge difference between biodynamic farming and any other kind of farming.
The only way that people are really going to become aware of biodynamic farming is to see it with their own eyes in action. It doesn't have to be on a huge scale. It can be any size. And for us, it just happens to be that we have this amount of land here, and so that's what we're working with.
Biodynamic farmers are very concerned about natural boundaries and believe that the farm, as an autonomous and living unit, has some kind of natural boundaries. The farm is about 230 acres. Of that, we farm intensively about 7 or 8 acres. It's a nice autonomous unit. It works together and functions, I believe, as a whole. For thousands of years, people would go and look eye to eye with the producer, the person who had grown their food. And that really held unabated until maybe 100 years ago, when we began to have supermarkets, grocery store, and we moved into an age of anonymity with food. People no longer knew where it came from, who had grown it, what kind of methods were used. When I moved here, I was assured by everyone that I talked to that I would never find a way to make a living off the land. I looked around at the way the land was being used in this valley with a lot of chemical utilization, and it just didn't seem right to me. And I was very uneasy about it. I didn't know what the alternatives were. I didn't know anything about organics. There's an old saying from the East: when the student is ready, the teacher will come. And a book came to me, and the book was called Seeds of Change. And it was a book that absolutely captivated me, and I was ready. Reading Seeds of Change helped me to realize that I could go back to that period of time when there was a lot of knowledge about how to farm without chemicals, and people were doing it very safely, sustainably, for centuries and centuries and centuries. What I learned about farming, initially, I learned from immigrant farmers who still farmed in the old world way. And that also reaffirmed to me that it could be done without chemicals and without a lot of fancy equipment. There was a very kind of, for me, propitious moment in history. I heard about a meeting down in San Francisco about this new thing that was happening, CSA, Community Supported Agriculture, where members of the community become members of a farm and join up, commit themselves to buying produce from the farm for a whole year. And instead of just developing kind of an economic relationship, we developed more of a kind of communal relationship, community relationship. It sounded good to me, and I went for it. The consumers come not as a stranger, but they come to a farm and they know us. They know Wendy, they know me, and they know we are the people that raise their food, and they see us eye to eye every week.
This is a place where you come and you bring your own scissors and you bring your own cooler or bags and you collect what we've harvested for you.
The people are here, the kids are here running around the farm, and it just gives the farm such a kind of a great presence and a great sense of life and energy. A lot of people bring their kids in for farm school during July and August, and sometimes we have 5 or 10 kids, and sometimes we have 30 or 40 kids.
Normally what happens with farm school is that we take the kids out to harvest something that we've harvested that morning.
Pulling a carrot out of the ground and eating it. If you do that, you'll hook those kids. You really will. They discover that there's something really exciting about the farm.
Kids just love given that opportunity to get down on their hands and knees and dig in the ground. We've shown them the seed. We've shown them what it looks like when it's small. Now we're showing them what it looks like when it's ready to be harvested. And to be able to walk through the field and watch that process taking place is huge. It's very magical.
So many people have told me that it is so therapeutic for them to come here. People who very often spend days or weeks in a cubicle in front of a computer, suddenly out on a farm where food is growing. The farm just comes alive when the people come. It's like the people are here now. The community has come in to see what we've done, to partake, to share, to bring their energy. And that's something that shouldn't be understated. The revolution has started, it really has. And it's a revolution that is, pardon the pun here, but it's growing. Certainly we grow the vegetables, and that's revolutionary in a sense because we're growing food for people, not commodities that we can store and ship internationally. This is food for people. When I started 20 years ago, there was exactly one CSA in this valley, and that was mine. Now there are many, many, including the largest CSA in the entire United States. It's really happening.
We're home, sweet home.